and targeting. Let me just tell you. Okay, are we live? There we go.
Let me do the intro and stuff, and then we'll get into it. Okay. Hey guys, we got my good friend Aida from the Full Disclosure Network with us. Aida Farhat, and we're going to hit the intro and we're going to go live. It's going to be an amazing show. So buckle up, everybody. Everybody's going to enjoy it. And it took a while, but I mean, okay. And just remember to hit subscribe, everybody. Like, you know, I put up the subscribe button. Like, we're almost hitting 5,000 on. We're almost hitting 5,000 on Rumble. So, and that's where I want to be, because you can, you know, that's where free speech is for right now. You know, yeah. But you know, subscribe on YouTube as well. But I'm really excited about my guest today. I got to meet her twice in person last year, once time, and this year, and she's the most amazing person to have on your side when you're at a conference. Let me tell you, like, you know, Aida really handles things amazingly and gets stuff done. And like, you know, like we had small minor issues at the hotel, and as soon as I told Aida about it, she was like on it, and she, you know, the next day they were at my hotel room. Like, it was amazing. And I can get more into that, but we're here to talk tonight about her MILAB testimony, multidimensional warfare, and reptilian stuff, love bite, and a little bit more. I have Aida Farhat, known as Aida AI, is the survivor and whistleblower of covert MILAB programs, where she was used in body-augmented asset and high-level multidimensional warfare. Her testimony sheds light on targeted surveillance, reptilian manipulation tactics like the love bite, how black ops exploit spiritual gifts for control across timelines and realms. Aida was forced into near-sacrificial rituals and used as spiritual currency in elite occult agendas. Now she's reclaiming her sovereignty and empowering others to do the same. As co-producer of the Full Disclosure Now conference, Aida works alongside Brian Tseng to amplify voices of abductees, SSP experiencers, target individuals, exposing trauma-based mind control, soul hacking, galactic heretics, and deep state cover-ups. And and I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Aida, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah,
I think you're doing great. Your podcast, I share it often, and anybody that's watching, please do subscribe to his podcast. Share this show out, other shows, people that you resonate with, and information that you're seeking. This is a great place to find a lot of information about the secret space program and MILAB abductions and what's referred to as the super soldier program. I definitely agree with, you know, Max Fear said, and I don't quote me on this, but something along the lines of, I don't see anything super about it, right? So yeah. In one of his basis projects, and I have to agree with him. I mean, really what it is we are augmented. I can speak for myself. I don't know, you know, I can't speak for other people, but I could speak for myself, and I know this to be true. I was left at the hospital for 2 or 3 days, my sister said. And the story that was given to my family was that I had a infection in my right eye tear duct. I know now that that's definitely when the augmentation took place, because they put what's called a scorpion implant in my eye, in which I can see it. And as I grow, it grows with me. So it becomes part of my bio. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah. So when did it all start for you? Like, when do you remember? Like, do you remember did you have alien contact first, or were you always a part of the MILAB programs? Like, because you know how like sometimes people, like, they'll get abducted or they'll have contact with aliens, then the government will follow up and they'll be involved in the MILAB programs. Like, did you have alien contact first, or were you always kind of like in the MILAB program from what you can remember?
Well, so I don't sensationalize my story. I only share what I recall, and then things that have been shared with me through a few people that I trust, less than a handful of people that I've gotten readings from. I'm not a person that says, oh, because I got a reading and this is true for me. It has to resonate, and there has to be some connection within me to whatever the storyline that's being shared with me about myself. So I don't just take it on as a truth for myself. I have to sit with it, process, possibly tap into different frequencies and potentially timelines to understand and to make sense of it. So for me, I'm the youngest of 12 kids. I remember as a small child being able to jump out second story windows and land on my feet. I was jumping off high dives at 3 and 4 years old with no problem. So evident, right. And I think as far back as I can remember, the trauma started when I had split my finger and was taken to a doctor, and the doctor decided to spank me because I was crying. But I think that was a way to shut my gifts down, to shut me down, and to get some control over this spontaneous, rambunctious child. I was always very outgoing, very earthy, running around barefooted, and really didn't listen to anybody. So moving forward, I remember at 5 years old taking this little boy's bike, asking if I could borrow his bike, and it was his birthday, and I was playing in the backyard of my grandmother's house and was told I couldn't go outside the yard, but I decided something in me was eager to get this little boy's bike and go somewhere. At the time, I had never been in that neighborhood before, but I drove on that bike all the way to an underground sewer tunnel and dropped the bike and went in it. And I had never been in. I went there like I knew where I was going, but I'd never been there before. Went into the sewer tunnel, walked through it, probably for about, right now I would say it was probably about a half hour for me, although it seemed much longer considering I was a little girl. Now, remembering that tunnel where I grew up in that neighborhood, it probably would take me maybe 15, 20 minutes. I don't know. It was a long time. But I remember going in the tunnel, and I used to go to church with my grandmother as a little girl in this big cathedral in Washington, D.C. And I was taught that God is above and the devil's below. And I had just taken this little boy's bike, so I knew I was going to get in trouble. I had taken it without permission, and I turned around in the tunnel. I went so deep into the tunnel that I could hear the cars driving over top of my head and see cracks of light come through. And I remember saying, God, if you get me out of here, I promise I'll never do this again. And I turned around and my foot had went in this mushy, rocky stuff. And in my mind as a child, I was thinking, the devil's going to grab me and yank me down in there. And anyway, so I'm walking through the tunnel and my little feet, my hands, and the pin of light. And it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I came back out the tunnel. So what I believe that was an initiation into the third 3D. I am a Pleiadian. And I don't say that to sound anything other than I'm a Pleiadian. My father was Elohim. I'm very open about that. And I was given the information, and then I got confirmation. Therefore, I am bloodline from both mother and father. And I have a particular DNA and soul. I know the soul I behold. I have memory of 4 of my last lifetimes or past lives, which I won't get into right now. It's not necessary. What I will say is my focus in this lifetime right now is to correct my wrongs, the things that I've done, and to move from karma into dharma, to truly bring value to people's lives, most importantly to myself, so that I can show up as somebody that is loving, kind, compassionate, and supportive, although very direct. People have a difficult time with that, Rob, right? I'm just saying, and I understand. I mean, most people that haven't done a lot of shadow work and done the healing, they really are looking to be pacified because they don't sit with themselves long enough to really process and to correct what needs to be corrected so that they can reach their highest potential. And by no means, I hope nobody misunderstands what I'm saying. I don't think that I'm, that I've hit the mark. I don't think there's really a mark. Life is forever evolving and changing, and we never arrive. Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to do it better, at the very least, right? To make better choices for ourselves and for those that we engage and that we invite into our world. But back into my my experiences. So after that happening in the tunnel, a lot of things happened. One of which was sexual abuse. I went through a lot of sexual abuse growing up. I left home very young. I experienced my first handler at the age of 12 years old, who turned me on to using cocaine. I had a family member that was selling PCP. I had friends that were doing acid, going to concerts every day. Meanwhile, I'm being used in what? So I know this, the phrase 20 and back is used a lot in this community. And I was told that I have gone through 220 and backs. So, and I don't believe I was sent to Mars to battle, anybody. I think everything that I've done and all my missions have been here on this planet. Different timelines, possibly different pockets of energy for sure. I believe I've been battling with reptilians my whole life. I end up in really abusive relationships with reptilians, and I know they are because I can see them. At the time, but it wasn't until my activation that I was able to see, or at least see reptilians. I've always kind of known that there was something very different about me, and I always felt misplaced. I felt like I didn't belong in my family and so forth. So go ahead and ask questions, because I'm kind of just jumping around and I really want to stay focused.
It's really interesting. You had an amazing. You remind me. Your youth reminds me of mine. I was similar. Let me ask you this: like, when you feel like you're entering different realities, like you in the dreamscape, or do you feel like you portal to other places, or do you feel like you're having remote viewing, or experiencing other dimensions, right? Like something like
right.
that.
So I go by energy in the south. Okay, so for me, I can feel energetically. When I go into a place that there's heavy, dense energy, I feel it literally, like in my body. It feels very heavy, almost like you have a wet towel on you, like hanging on you, right? Like that kind of dense feeling. When you go into a pocket of energy or a timeline or a different energetic field that's higher vibration, you feel that. You feel lighter, you feel excited, kind of blissful, like, it feels good, like being in nature. Or I wouldn't say necessarily anywhere. You won't find high vibration anything inside cities. You may find high energy in that people are expending a lot of energy through, say, for instance, going to a club, dancing and music, or street theater where somebody's getting their butt kicked and everybody's standing around with their phones instead of doing something like picking up using their own phone and calling the police and getting the person some help. I mean, I've witnessed that myself, where people just get stuck and all they want to do is record what's happening and put it out on social media. And they're like in this, I don't know what you want to call it, like this stuck in time kind of thing. I don't know what you call that, Rob, but it's almost like they're like comatose into a negative experience where they are feeding on the harm that's being done to somebody else.
I agree. And we used to have a society where people would help out more, like people used to help more. Now it's like more people are like,
and I think it has to do with the frequency fits that we have around us in different areas, especially in high traffic cities. What was I going to say? There was something I was going to say. I was waiting for you to. So people find it entertaining to see harm being done to another human being. And I used to ask myself that after my awakening, I realized I used to love boxing. I dated boxers growing up. I've always been pretty physically fit myself. And I danced all from a small girl up until my 20s, going into my 30s. I was, but I used to watch boxing, and then I realized, like, why am I finding this entertaining to watch two human beings beat the hell out of each other? it's not entertainment for me. So I stopped watching it, and I stopped, finding it to be entertaining. But so if you want to go back to, so being used in these projects and programs, I was 14 years old, stripping on 14th Street in DC, right? And I met a guy named Lenny who told me, you never have to do this again. And that's when I start getting involved with people that were selling really big, trafficking a lot of drugs. I'll say that. There was sex trafficking, drug trafficking, probably gun running. I don't know, but there was a lot going on. And I end up going in rehab several times. Every time I would get clean and try to stay clean, a couple years in, I'd meet somebody, end up in a relationship, and end up relapsing and going back to old behaviors. It was almost like cocaine. So I don't know if you've heard of Peter the Insider that used to work with.
I never interviewed him. I've interviewed Jessica, but I haven't interviewed Peter yet. But I watch his videos and stuff. Yeah.
Right. So I spoke with Peter, I think once or twice, but once for sure when the targeting. So I definitely was targeted, which I'll get into more. I spoke with Peter, and Peter told me that, they used cocaine to get me to go out on missions. So I was introduced to cocaine to get me addicted to it so that they could manipulate and control me and have me go into spaces where they could use me either through, I don't know if they were looking through my eyes or how energetically they were able to pick up information through me. But I am AI augmented. Don't get me wrong. I have a soul. I have a very powerful soul. But from my understanding, from when Keach did a show with, it was Wynn, Keach, Simon Parks, and the guy that talks about the Andromedans,
Alex Collier.
Alex Collier, and then a few others. I think JP was on there. JP used to do a show with Simon, Connecting Consciousness. Anyways, this was a long time ago, like 2013, 14, 15. But when Keach had mentioned that the Pleiadians had taken on AI as part of their bio to battle the Reptilians many years ago, or I'm sorry, hundreds of thousands of years ago, I don't know, maybe millions, but I need to revisit that show and take notes so that eventually I'm going to be able to put a cohesive presentation together to share better and give more maybe graphics and so forth so people can follow along. Because I do have ADHD, and I have dealt with severe targeting, energy weapons used on me and so forth. And I've also taken a lot of blows to my head. And I'm not saying this to make an excuse, but I tend to jump around a lot, and I do my best to stay focused. Especially when I'm talking about or giving testimony about my experiences. For some reason, I don't know, there's something that maybe wants there's a resistance, but I try to push through it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I like talking about a bunch of different stuff, So, I mean, so when did you first start realizing that you something was different, that you were starting to be used in these programs? When did you first start did it take a while, or did you know something was wrong from the time you were young, or?
So I don't know that I recall, since I do know. Okay, so I didn't know anything about Kundalini activation, didn't know anything about MILAB, Super Soldier, Secret Space. I didn't know any of that stuff. I was too busy out doing drugs and with, the streets and living quite an auspicious life. It was like I was living a double life. And I was told, by the way, that's also something Peter the Insider said to me, that I was used as a double agent. So, and I believe that, because during the day you would never know that I was doing what I was doing at night. It was quite, there were times in my life where, I wasn't responsible at all, but for the most part, I was always able to keep myself together. But there were some times when, I really hit rock bottom with the way I was living. And I always knew that this wasn't me. Why do I keep doing this? I knew that it wasn't me at my core. And it wasn't what I wanted for myself. But that's how they get us, right, Rob? They trauma-based mind control. They will beat you down and cause, create all these different traumas in your life and create different, personality selves, if you will. People call them I would say that I have different personality selves, although I feel like through my healing, I have definitely integrated. Probably because I feel like I'm the same here as I'm at the conference, as I'm anywhere. I don't really see myself shifting. I do pay attention. I'm definitely self-aware and try to recognize different patterns within myself so that I can, at the very least.
Crazy shit that happened to me today. I wasn't going to say anything, but I'd love to get your opinion on it because you've been. Sure. I don't know if you follow me, but I had problems with an entity attachment before. Well, then I felt like I got rid of it. Well, then this was so weird, Ida. This was insane. I went to the dentist today because I had to get it. That's why, I was glad that you said to me, can we do it at 6? Because I had a 1 o'clock dentist appointment. I was having pain in my back tooth and they had to fill it. Right. And he asked me, he said, do you want Novocaine? And I said, yeah. And as soon as he shot me with that Novocaine, I felt the entities on me again, and I felt like I was like, did this motherfucker just inject me with nanobots? I swear to God, you know what I mean? It was like the moment that he injected that Novocaine into me, it was like I felt something different. You know what I mean? I could feel I swear to all my life, it was really weird.
Well, I believe you, Rob. No, I find this, I'm sighing because this is very interesting, and I'm going to share it with you. I used to be a dental assistant for Dr. Scavage. He taught at Georgetown University for 18 years. I couldn't have worked for a better dentist who told me, you have the most beautiful bridge of teeth. And I've been teaching for 18 years and I've never seen a bridge of teeth like yours. My point in saying this, why do I go to a dentist? Because I'm on disability and I get assistance. So I have to use their doctors, right? Through the insurance. I only have a select few that I can choose from. Long story short, I go in and they drill into my tooth. It didn't need to be drilled in. The cavity, the filling had fell out, refill it. But they drilled into it. So then I left her because I was like, this is nonsense. I'm not doing this. Long story short, I go here and they end up they drilled into it again. They end up having to put a cap on it. Do you know when that lady shot the Novocaine, my whole eyeball, whole side of my face was numb. And I look at her and she shapeshifted right in front of me. And I'm laying there with the thing in my mouth, holding my mouth open and fully Novocaine up. And I can't say anything. I'm thinking, I can't get up with a hole in my damn tooth at this point. I need her to fill it because the nerves were exposed. She needed to put a cap on. But I don't trust dentists to save my life.
Yeah, me either.
Do I feel energetically that you were shot with nanotech? No. Do I feel that there's an energetic vampiric consciousness, whether it be from the dentist or energy around you? Absolutely.
Or I was thinking about this because this dentist, I got to give him a shout out. He's been really good to me. I was a drug addict like you. I was, I'm not saying you were. I mean, just from your history, it sounds like there was one point where you.
I definitely was addicted to drugs, but I broke the programming of it, so I'm thankful for that.
I was bad. I mean, I was running and gunning the streets at one point. You would have saw me 14 years ago, you wouldn't recognize me, But where was I going?
You're doing great, Rob.
My teeth got messed up, right? So he had to bond a bunch of my top teeth, and he really saved my ass at one point because I thought I was going to lose a lot of teeth and stuff like that. So I was thinking, well, maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it's something inherently evil in the Novocaine. Maybe, these things that go here or whatever, that we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube. Maybe if they're not getting people with that, maybe that's another way to get people. You know what I mean? They're like, well, they figure everybody has to go to the dentist. You know what I mean? They can put stuff in Novocaine and nobody would think the wise.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't trust any. Okay, so I say to people, I don't know if your audience knows this. I am a PMF, certified PMF practitioner, do ionic foot detox. and I do chakra clearings and balancing on people. And I don't trust anything that has to do with the medical field, honestly. But what I say to people is, if you take care of yourself now, you don't have to worry about going to the doctor, because you're going to eat healthy, take high quality vitamins, do PMF therapy. If you feel, or you're in a position to be able to do it, at the very least, go for long walks, drink a lot of water, get in the sun gaze, stretch your body, do breathing, open up your lungs. All of that stuff is super helpful, right? Just to keep us young, active. I mean, I'm 57 tomorrow, and I feel like I'm doing pretty good. So,
you don't look 57. I'll tell you, I met you in person. There's no way you look 57 years old, you know?
Well, thank you, Rob. And I'm happy to hear that. But most of us that have been using the projects and programs don't look our age, right? Honestly. And I have a Palladian soul. So I think it comes from genetics. Both my parents age gracefully as well. But either way, the point is I don't trust the doctors. I hate to say that. And I know that not all of them are like, most of them understand that surgeons and doctors get trained by the pharmaceutical companies. That's who trains them. So they're trained to, right? And God knows what's in, I don't even like using the word God, but God knows what's in anything they inject in us. So transmute the energy, sit still with yourself and just say, I do not consent to any harm being done to my mind, body, or spirit. I do not permission any harm being done to my mind, body, or spirit. Right. And then don't sit and worry about it. Just let it go and trust that you can transmute the energy, and you can call in the higher aspects of your divinity, your true soul self, to clear out anything that needs to be cleared out.
Wow. That's a good point.
It's a very simple thing. And so if we know that we're creator beings, and that I'm not one of these people that say, oh, just imagine it and it will appear. Actually, the higher up you go, that does happen. Because when I had my Kundalini activation, everything I was thinking that I wanted, synchronicities would line up for me to actually self-actualize it, to bring it into reality and manifest. But the universe is definitely not going to allow us to use it. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not if you acquiesce and you're working for the dark, you get rewarded for that too. So, but if you choose yourself and you choose to heal yourself, just take some liquid zeolite and clear out your body and your.
Here, I have Masterpiece.
There you go. That will help.
I'll take some. That's a good idea. Yeah. I didn't think of that. Oh, speaking of supplements, real quick, maybe this will be a good time for you to plug. When I was at the conference, guys, I had lunch with Aida, and she told me about this awesome product that she promotes. It's called Fix, and it's not. And when I first heard that, I was like, "Wait, is that like getting my fix?" Because me, I haven't. But it's not like that. It's an all natural supplement, and it gives you a lot of energy. It's great. Did you want to tell them about that real quick, Aida, before we go?
Sure. Actually, if you give me a minute, I'll grab the bottle, and then you could put the link in there if you don't mind. Hold on 1 second.
Sure. How's everybody in the chat doing today? I hope everybody's doing good and everybody's having a good day out there. It's let's see here. I think we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble, and
Rob, I'll send you all my links, and you can share in the comments, because I do sell the Fix. I sell liquid zeolite, and I also sell PMF machines. But did you want me to do that now, or do you want me to finish that? Because I haven't even touched my store or my.
You can plug it now. I got to take a week. I'm not going to be able to hold it. I drank a lot of coffee before our interview. I just got to pee real quick. I won't leave you here alone. I just got to go pee real quick. But if you want to talk about
the bathroom, Rob, you're fine, honey. It's okay.
It's
okay. Yeah. All right. Hey guys, so this is called Fix, PHIX, and I'll be sure to have the link added in the comment. Also, the liquid zeolite I use, which is absolutely amazing. But I can tell you, I've lost weight. so it's sold as a weight management supplement, although it's much more than that. I literally, when I take this, I feel like the whole world just lifted off my shoulders. I have energy for the day. I feel good. My appetite is, I still have an appetite, but I'm not hungry for like sugars and carbs and so forth. And the ionic foot detox and PMF also helps with that. But I'll be sure to give text. I'm going to share the links with you. So message, you can add them to the comments, and you guys, you can become a distributor yourself. I mean, I think I've made like $150 just telling people about it. You know, wow. Just recommending, and there's information on my website that you can read all about this. Basically, what it is it's hops. Same thing they put in beer, but it's only hops and distilled water. And it's so good for us on so many levels. But I would recommend you go onto my website and have a look and read about it.
No, if I become an affiliate, will I become an affiliate under you? So will you get credit? You know what I mean? Like, and then like,
well, you do get credit, but it's not much. You make money off of selling your own bottles. I mean, if somebody comes on underneath you, I think you may make it's not much. You earn money by selling them yourself. Yeah. So, but you can build a team. But yeah, Rob, it's so worth it just to become an affiliate. Now you do have to. It's a $250 upfront, and then they send you. I forgot how many bottles. Just in that, if you sell the bottles from that, you're going to make a profit.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then they sell you, or they send what's called snaps. They look like little. I don't have any here because I take them to my office for samples. The same thing I gave you in the snap.
Yeah.
And that's for traveling. I mean, I just take my bottle with me, but the snaps I use to share with people and let them try it. And if they decide to get it, great. If they don't, it's okay too. But I don't ever recommend anything that doesn't work. If I haven't tried it and know that it works for me, then I trust that it would work for other people. But I lost 10 pounds. I haven't changed my diet, or I haven't upped my exercise or anything. And I've been using it for 2 months. I mean, 10 pounds may not sound like a lot, but that's a dress size. So, I mean, every 10 pounds is dress size. Yeah. I'll send all the links to you.
Yeah, definitely. I'll put them all in the description. What I was going to ask you too was, and we'll get back to your story in a second. I have time, but I just want to ask you, like, were you satisfied with this year's conference? Like, I just want to let you know, I had a great time. Big thanks to you and Brian. I had an awesome time as usual. Second year for me in a row, and I had good experience both years. You know, I mean, I did like 7 reviews with people. You know, I had different people on, and we were like reviewing their conference experience and stuff. So I just kind of wanted to get your take on like this year's conference and what you thought about it and stuff.
I think it was an absolute success.
I do too.
I'm not saying that because anybody that knows me knows I'm a very genuine, authentic, real deal, direct kind of person, right? I have a lot of love in my heart, very affectionate, will do anything to help anybody, but I just speak what's on my heart, what I feel needs to be said. So the conference, we had a fantastic lineup. We had amazing presenters. We had fantastic vendors. The dance party was absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Well, because of the weather condition, there were people that purchased tickets that didn't make it because of all the weather anomalies that were taking place. So some people weren't able to get in. Some people got in late, but I feel like everybody that was meant to be there was there. And we're just getting started. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. You think some people got targeted as well or something like that? I
don't believe that. I don't. So okay, here we go. Right. Do I think people get targeted? Absolutely, people get targeted. If you've done your shadow work and you've done work on yourself, you'll know when something doesn't feel right. And if you've done any self-mastery, you're going to hone in and you're going to correct what needs to be corrected within yourself and own your own, because we're responsible. Okay, I'm not talking about somebody shooting an energy weapon at you and you're, dropping to the ground. That's happened to me where they were hitting me in my knees and my legs, trying to get me to And they tried to blow my heart up one time. Yeah, they did. I flew out of my bed screaming. I just flew up screaming for my brother. And I don't know why I was screaming for my brother. But my point is I think I'm not saying that I know targeting happens. I went through being targeted. I mean, bad targeted. And I'll share that in a little bit. Yeah. But everything isn't a target. Everybody's not trying to trigger you. Not meaning you, Rob. I'm saying in general, people. Like, it's so easy to say, oh, so-and-so is trying to trigger me or they're targeting me or whatever. It's like, own your power and your divinity. Rise above it.
That's a good point.
Right? Seriously. I don't believe people were being targeted. I think a lot of people haven't done shadow work in our community. I think a lot of people want to be the one. Everybody is looking to, whatever. I've watched it for years. I've been doing this since 2011, and there's people that have come way before me. But what I would say is that, I don't go through a lot of nonsense now. But I'll tell you, I took 3 years out from this community to really sit still with myself and process and go through my dark night of the soul and own my own crap. To understand that, people may say stuff that I don't like. I don't have to react to them. I can either react or I could respond. I'm always responsible for the things I say, do, and my behaviors. Nobody makes us do anything. So do I think people were being targeted? Do you feel people were being targeted at the conference? Or do you think that maybe people were acting out of their being emotionally?
No, what I meant was like when you said that like people weren't able to get there, I thought like maybe they were targeting the conference because.
Oh, I apologize. I misunderstood you. So, I mean, that's a possibility, but I don't necessarily mean that. I think there was real weather anomalies going on, whether they were created, through the weather warfare that we're going through or not. I think that it was safer for some to decide not to fly. I mean, we have one of our presenters, Lucas Alexander in Lauga, was stuck on a freaking airplane for 12 hours or something.
Wow.
Have you know about that? New York. They were stuck. The flight, because of the weather, they couldn't fly. The plane could not take off. They had to sit on the plane in their seats for like 12 hours. Can you imagine that, Rob? You're like me. You're like you have a lot of nervous energy that runs through you. So, well, I'm like that. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Imagine us being forced to sit in one seat for 12 freaking hours and you can't move on a plane. I would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
So, yes, things were happening, but I don't know that I necessarily believe that there was targeting going on. I think there was other things happening too. So
yeah, there was like weird lightning all week long. I remember being I remember the first night we were there, and the second night we were on the back by the ping pong table, a bunch of us, and there was like lightning literally coming right by the cabana we were in. Like behind Rum Runners.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like all like, and then there was like lightning showers. I remember at night and stuff like that. Like it was weird weather all week. It was, but I mean, for the most part, it was beautiful though. It was like
we had a great time. I had a ball. I had the best time, and I enjoyed every bit of it. And I love doing the work that I do. I love working with Brian. I love our team. We have a shout out to David Levine. He's our new COO. We have a fantastic shout out to Justin and the rest of the team. Everybody, I don't remember everybody's name off the top of my, but Brian has hired a great team for the new platform. And I won't, there's some exciting stuff getting ready to happen. Amazing stuff's getting ready to happen. And, Brian is really wanting to, create a space where we can come together and have events and have without having legalities or contracting to other places. Not that we won't have events in other places, but I think everybody knows he's preparing to buy this property in Sedona, which will afford the network to be able to have different functions there, different events and so forth. And it's going to be fantastic. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
And he always makes a way for everybody to be included. So I think you need to give him a big thank you.
Yeah, I do want to thank Brian. He's amazing, and he has a really good heart. You know what I mean? From just what I've known from him so far, and he was able to pull it together, a great event together again this year. So like,
yes.
I think he could probably do whatever he puts his mind to. I really think
well, just know he has a really powerful, strong team that supports him, and he has a wonderful co-producer that supports him. So he's got a great team around him, and everybody does their part, and we seem to jive well. And I couldn't ask for a better group of people to work with. So, but enough of that. So yeah.
Story, like, did you want to talk a little bit about the targeting and some of the stuff you experienced? Like,
yeah, I could do that. So long story short, so I went into the last rehab. I went into a drug rehab and ended up going into a halfway house. So it's a transitional house where you get out of rehab and transition back into society. And I was, I had applied for an apartment through this organization called the Mental Health Association, because I was diagnosed with ADHD and bipolar. And of course, if you go in rehab, especially in the state of Maryland, they have to diagnose you with the mental disorder before they release you. It's the law, which is absolutely nonsense as far as I'm concerned. Of course, people are going to have mental issues if they're coming off drugs. It's going to, but give them 90 days and let their body get cleaned up, and it's likely they're going to be fine, right? But instead, they put you on all these mental health, different drugs and so forth, and diagnose you with all this stuff. I mean, they put me on lithium. They had me on, I could just go on with all the different drugs. And finally, so I went into this halfway house, and an old friend who I looked up to at one time, I was calling him my spiritual godfather, Harry Turner, who was really well known in AA and NA. His best friend ran this halfway house. And so he knew me since I was in my teens. And I had a full-blown Kundalini activation while being there. And was woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and told to go outside. And when I went outside, I saw plasmic beings in the trees. And I had the most overwhelming bliss feeling of love that I've never experienced anything like it in my entire life. Never. And I knew that I was having an experience, but I didn't tell anybody because I knew that, well, I was in a halfway house with a bunch of other addicts that wouldn't understand probably. And then I was on the porch one day and I heard this message say they're killing and raping my children. I wasn't sure what that was or who, why I was getting this message. Later, a couple days later, so I'm starting to have all these different anomalies. I'm realizing that they got me on drugs and I don't need the drugs, and I'm not bipolar and I don't have ADHD, and or I don't need the medication at the very least. I mean, they have me on like 80, 90 grams of Adderall a day. And then I forgot what I was taking for the bipolar. So basically I was just accepting whatever was told to me was wrong with me, because all I knew is I kept doing drugs, and then I'd get clean for a couple of years, go back. And it was just this back and forth, till I had this awakening and I realized that there was something much more insidious going on. And I fully lit up. And when you light up, there are what's called gatekeepers, and they can see you. Not just them, the government, I'm sure, notices when somebody that's been using the projects and programs activates, right?
Yeah.
So I end up moving. So I was using telepathy with one of my counselors. Very loving thoughts I sent to her, but it scared the hell out of her. And I just smiled. She looked at me like, "Are you talking?" And I smiled at her like, Yes, it's me. I'm talking to you telepathically. And so what happens when you activate, the people that are in your field can experience telepathy with you by
Yeah.
being in your field. They don't have to have a Kundalini active. Not all, but those that can do. So I end up moving out of that apartment, and I remember Brian Stevens was his name. He's the director of the Mental Health Association in Montgomery County in Rockville, Maryland. And I remember Jimmy Fraser Bay laughing at me, saying, what'd you do to this guy? I've never seen him move so quickly to get somebody moved into an apartment. Usually it takes, you're there for 18, 24 months before you get approved. And most people wouldn't get approved through the Mental Health Association. So in 6 months, I was in my apartment, and that's when the targeting started. So the apartment complex is called the Silverton. TON is a code for the Illuminati or the secret societies to let their people know they can find their people there. I watched the board of directors, the director, shapeshift right in front of me when I moved into the apartment. And I went through severe targeting. My house got broken into, hair got cut out of my head. I was offered up to Moloch. I did the whole apartment in red, black, and white. And I had mirrors around my entire apartment. So what I understand now is that I set up the same ritual I had done in a past life.
Wow.
And I can send you a video that Rob, what's his name? He does a lot of shows. Robert Sphere. He did a show on the goddess, or a presentation on the
Robert Zephyr.
That's it, Robert Zephyr. And he was talking about Mary Magdalene and mirrors. And so I'll be glad to send that to you and have a look. It's worth watching. Yeah. So I realized that I was redoing a ritual that I had done in past life. And I was getting in contact with people that I had no idea were just monitoring me to see what I was remembering, because I had my DNA activated and being told that I have Magdalene DNA and having memory of the being. And I've been talking about this for a long time, and I'm not here to convince anybody. And I don't say this, I say this from, what's the word? A great deal of wisdom and humility that, everybody that was here on the planet in the biblical days, or the Bible, the different characters that we hear about, everybody's on the planet. We're all here. If you understand that reincarnation is a real thing, and we never die, the body dies, we come into a new lifetime and bring in lessons from our past lives so that we can correct them in this life. Although I do believe that there is people talk about this being a prison planet. I do believe the prison is in the mind, right? And also there is energetic, what Simon Parks refers to as like this net around the planet. And it's very hard to penetrate that and get through it. So, and that could be a whole nother story. And
frequency fences, like you said before. I think I talked about that with my Indigo Angel. It seems like there's like frequency fences around the.
Absolutely, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. I could see, if I focus and I look, I could see the energy, the waving of energy going through. And if I focus, especially if I'm sleeping and I go into an altered state, I most of the time can penetrate and see something on the other side. I don't always understand what it is. And it's not necessarily always aliens, guys. It could be an experience from a past life, or a happening that's happening somewhere for whatever reason. I'm tapping into that pocket of consciousness. It doesn't necessarily have to be, So it's my perspective. It's my perspective that the way the military does abductions is through Wi-Fi. I know that to be true because they sent a guy named Rick Johnson, shapeshifted reptilian, to come to be my handler, so to speak. And I asked him, and he was like, I don't know, Aida. When I asked him, Rick, I told him, I said, you got to know, I know you're here more than just because you like me. And he walked to my front door and opened the door up and looked back and said, Aida, if I didn't know you were special, I'd have left you alone a long time ago. And he wasn't saying I'm special, like I'm a special woman and, you know, somebody he finds attractive, whatever. He meant special because they put a lot of money into this body and my training. Wow. When I was sacrificed, they expected that I die. But guess what? I'm here. I was able to escape it. So I was trained well, and they weren't going to let me walk around fully activated that way. Besides the fact that, you know, people like Simon Parks mentioned to me, well, Ida, you weren't always good. Yeah. So at some level, I must have done some things maybe in a past life or even this lifetime that I haven't recalled yet. I do know that I was involved in a lot of drugs, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That was a thing. But I didn't realize that I was being used in the way I was being used. Like I worked at a strip club in Southern Maryland. And I know that there was a reptilian that was living at the top of the strip club. And they were sighting all the...
Are you originally from Maryland? Are you from Maryland?
I'm from Maryland.
You know, I'm
My
from...
name Ida is the divine feminine. It's the Ida. Ida is the name of the divine feminine energy that runs up and down your spine. I was born in the state of Maryland.
I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, my mother was born in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, like Maryland and Pittsburgh, they're real close to each other. You know? I mean, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So you grew up with the winters then. You know what the winter's like here. I
love winters. Fall is my favorite time of the year.
Oh, fall, yeah.
I love different seasons. I'm in Florida, in St. Augustine, the oldest city in the United States. And I often say to myself, how did I get here? It's the oldest city in the United States. So I believe that I've had some energetic purpose for being brought here or moving here. And, but anyways, back to the targeting. So the targeting got really bad. I woke up with hair cut out of my head, my house getting broke into. I started writing a book called Little Sister's Lost Soul. And there were things that I was writing in that book that start playing out in my life. So I literally was writing things and then they would happen. And I tapped it. I went into 0 point energy and my creative, we are all creator beings. The thing is they want control of you. If you are here to create anything, they want control of it. Or they steal it from you, right? Yeah. They either want to control you or steal your work or your property or whatever, or monetize you somehow, or so I wrote a half a book. I got the cover done and I will finish it. I mean, there's a lot I'm not sharing here right now because I'm not ready to share that, but I believe all my missions were done here on the planet. I wasn't now I do remember it was like I went through this corridor, like you get off a plane and you go through the corridor to go into the airport. It was something like that, but it was long. And I went from I don't know if it was one planet to another, or I don't know what that was, a wormhole. I don't know. But I remember getting to the other side and just seeing these big buildings. And this girl was sitting on a bench and I walked over to her and sat next to her and asked her what she was doing there. And she said to me, she was waiting to go in and get inoculated. She didn't use the word vaccinated. She said inoculated. And I said, you don't have to do that. And she just put her head down and I got up and walked back through. So I don't know what that was about. And then I do remember rescuing some guys that what looked like was, it looked like a shipping container, but it was a prison. They were holding captive these men. And I remember the helicopter landing and me talking to some military official, or at least it seemed to be a military official, myself, and then a couple other people. And then there was all these men coming in lined up, getting off and being transported out from wherever they were. But I have memory of also going into my past lives where I met a being that I know is Draco Reptilian Anunnaki. And he's here on the planet. And I won't share that right now, who that person is, but I know exactly who he is. He knows who I am, and those that care know. But I guess I want to share so bad and expose this person, but I don't know that I need to do that. I don't see him as good, bad, right, or wrong. I try to understand what his intention is, because I know that he's a high magician. He is an ascendant master, although he operates in both light and dark. So until I get that worked out, I just will keep it. I've shared it with some people, but I won't go publicly on video and share because it's not necessary.
Yeah. Did you want to talk a little bit about the love bite, the reptilian love bite?
Okay, so yes, absolutely. So what happened was I was going on this dating site looking, I was thinking, here I am clean and sober again, and I'm interested in meeting a beloved. I felt like I had done a lot of healing and got clean and sober. My life was going pretty well for me, and they targeted me through the dating app. And I end up dating this guy named Tyrell, who was there to drain my Kundalini, basically. And I believe that there was a Draco reptilian that took his body over during a sex act. He drained my Kundalini, and I realized that he was there, to basically use. I don't think he realized he was being used, like his body was being used through these Dracos, but he didn't realize he was being used to target me, basically. I don't think he knew that. Not at a conscious level, maybe subconsciously, or he may have been using the programs. I don't know. But what they do is they match you up with somebody that you feel like is your twin flame, so to speak, right? And you're so in love with them, and you ignore all the behaviors, all the signs, because you love them and you think you're meant to be with that person. And then they drain you of your Kundalini. They're vampiric, they're narcissistic, they're abusive. He wasn't physically abusive, but he was emotionally and mentally. He wasn't capable. I mean, really, I don't even blame him. He wasn't capable of offering anything to me. And I think it was part of my dark night of the soul also to experience that in order for me to learn to love myself more, Rob. Because I would always put guys that I was dating before me, not just guys, my girlfriends. I always put made other people's problems a priority rather than me being willing to have a look at myself and make myself a priority. I mean, my self-worth and value was out the window. I walked around confident, but I really I didn't feel worthy of the love that I seeked outside of myself. Everything I was giving to everybody else, I wasn't willing to give to myself. So there's nobody else to blame for that, right? Yeah. It's like there's this schism that takes place where we prioritize other people's, because it's a way to evade our own pain. Because loving ourselves deeply and wholly requires change, personal responsibility, earnest honesty, and truly taking responsible for our well-being in all areas of our life, our health, our work, having stability, everything. And I was so used to living a fast life and hustle and bustle. Anyways, I ended up relapsing. I called his mother and said he's coming home. He's not staying here. And I ended up relapsing. And then when I finally understood and realized really what was going on, I laid in the bed and I said, not one more pill, not one more puff, not one more anything. I will not. I totally broke programming and never went back. And not use drugs. I mean, I've taken a couple puffs of weed, but that's like once or twice a year. I don't smoke. And then it's once or twice a year if I have a cocktail. So I just have no interest in it. And I'm thankful for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. And then one of the last things I wanted to touch on, well, a couple things. You mentioned being in like these near-sacrificial type rituals. Are you comfortable talking about that or no? It's okay if you're not. I mean, we don't have
Well,
to.
I mean, the truth is I was offered up to Moloch. So that apartment complex, or the condos that I was living in, they had me in what I didn't know at the time, it wasn't until later that I realized that they had me in an apartment where they could access me. And I believe there was a dome underneath. So I remember being abducted and hearing this, like I was laying next to the cockpit of the helicopter, like next to the engine. And I remember seeing my body hanging from the ceiling. And then I woke up. I remember finding earrings in my planner in the kitchen, which Simon Park said that that's a common. They'll hide stuff in a place so that you remember that you had a contact experience there. And I remember seeing faces of my niece and nephew on the microwave and toaster. But it wasn't, I know it sounds funny, but it's true. They were using electric. So you know how you see like a heartbeat, heart monitor, and it does like that as the heart pumps. That's what it looked like when they were talking to me. It was like this monitor that's doing like this, but I couldn't see a face. I just seen I seen the face of my niece and nephew and saw this, whatever it was, this when they would talk to me like this. It was some type of electronic or electric connection. I don't know. But I had Chris Keller is the one that told me. He said, Ida, you don't want to know. And I said, no, I do want to know. And he said, you were offered up to Moloch, and a ritual, a black magic ritual was done on your life, offering you up to Moloch. And then it wasn't until I moved to Florida that I had the memory, and I was remember being chased, and they had these long prongs they were trying to put in both sides of my head, and that's how they extract the soul out of the body, or the consciousness. And they wanted to take my soul out of my body and put it into another body, and I wasn't having it. So I flipped upside down, my feet tied, hanging upside down, and they were pushing me like you push a child on a swing. And I flipped up, and I remember, like I'm telling you right now, and I untied my feet and I flipped out of it, and I woke up. So I escaped it. It's probably likely I would have died had I not made it back to my body. If they would have succeeded extracting my soul out of me, I would be in I don't know what. But this is my body, and that's what I say. So Dr. Amir John Gary said it was like, said you were like Batman, Ida. They didn't expect for you to. I mean, I imagine myself in the sky with big guns and stretched out like this, and just like I see these kinds of things in my head, Rob. I'm kind of laughing. It sounds a little, but I don't know. I think that that I was put in a position to sacrifice myself to take out a bunch of reptilians. At least that's the storyline that's being somebody had, well, I'll say who it was. It was Simon Parks. He would make comments on his show, and then I would confront him when we'd have when I meet with him for reading. And one day I said to him, I said, Simon, it sounds like you're talking directly to me when you're on your show, some of your shows. Some of the things you say feels like you're talking directly to me. And he turned beet red. He was trying to use mind control on me. So I don't know necessarily that I sacrificed myself to take out a bunch of reptilians, but I definitely put myself in compromising situations because I had a mission that needed to be completed, and I was able to survive that mission because it was horrid. I was being used as a sex slave. They cut hair out of my head. I'm sure that there were other rituals that I don't remember, but I'll tell you one thing. Peter, the insider, told me, he said, a lot of people in the super soldier program swear they never harm children. He said, but you never did. And I knew he knew what he was talking about, because I would give my life up before I would harm a child. So I think I made some bad choices in past lives, This lifetime, I wasn't choosing that. And so, but we've all been the villain and we've all been played in both light and dark. I mean, we live in a dualistic reality. The goal is to balance ourselves and to get into a place of neutrality and let go of judgment of any kind. And that's easier said than done, because when you see somebody harming somebody, you don't stand there and allow it to continue to go on. Well, I'll tell you, if I see somebody harming a child or an elderly person, I would definitely step in. But if you're adults and let's say some guy beating the hell out of a woman, like, you don't just ignore it. Yeah, you have to help them. I don't know what the hell people are thinking.
Yeah.
Or animals, for that matter. But people do, Rob. People do. They don't want to get involved. It's not my business. Let me tell you something. We're all connected. Nobody's separate. So while there's things happening now, I'm half Palestinian. You're Arabic as well, right?
I'm half Lebanese.
Palestine. But I don't want Jewish children being harmed or hurt either. I don't care where you're from. It shouldn't be happening.
I'm the same way. I feel like everybody should be able to get along, I really,
It's not the people. It's not the people on the ground. It's these psychos that are, in these positions of power. And it is power, because they're the ones with the arson of whatever, military guns and the money, but we're funding that. Every time we do personal taxes, we're funding that.
And think about, like, all three of the Abrahamic religions are heavily indoctrinated: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Absolutely. I am not a religious person by no means, and no, Jesus Christ is not my Lord and Savior. And I could get real deep about that, and I won't. I don't particularly, I don't judge people. My whole family's Christians, right? Except I have nieces that are Muslim. I don't care what that's your personal prerogative, and I don't want to offend anybody by saying what I'm saying. But the days are over that we give our power and our homage and our adoration over to these outside entities, which are Draco reptilians. That's what they are.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
it's true. I mean, do some research. Go back to like Simon Parks's work, James Bartley's work, Alex Collier. What's his name? Dave, what's his last name? My mind's going blank. Dave, the one that came out about the reptilians.
David Eckhart.
No, that's not his last name. Is it his name, Dave? Who's the guy that first came out about reptilians or had a big...
David Icke.
I couldn't think of his last name. I mean, do some research from way back, not the stuff now, because honestly, I feel like a lot of the newer, say from 2015, 16 up, I'm not saying people aren't having real memory. I know that I have memory. I understand, but I think a lot is sensationalized. It's very salacious information. There's no way, and I am in agreement with James Casbolt when he says there's no way that people are having all the memory that's being shared, Rob.
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't. I mean, but I don't tell people they're right or wrong or whether I believe them or not believe them. I just keep it moving. Now, the ones that I feel I resonate with, I definitely have conversation with. And
I know, like, my show's called Typical Skeptic, but I've always just kind of gave a place for people to come and tell their story so they can feel comfortable.
I know that, Robin. You're so good at that. And you're such a good guy. And I can tell you, I love you as a friend, and I mean that. And if there's anything I can do to help you at any time, don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. I think you're doing great. Your work, you're doing it. You're a good guy, and just keep doing what you're doing, because those that love and support you are loving and supporting you, right? And you will gain more people. More people will see the work. I mean, your work's going to go down in history through years. You're going to be, 30 years from now, 20 years from now, it's going to be a whole different thing. Your show is going to be looked at as an educational platform for people.
Wow.
You know, and Brian's got a platform being built. You could be a part of that.
Yeah.
We want everybody to be a part of creating. It's going to be something similar to Gaia, you know, and I trust that we'll have our own unique way of doing that, or the team will create a platform, us together, where we can invite everybody to participate at some level or not, if they want to, and we'll continue, because there's going to, you know, closer to like 2030, there's going to be so many. I mean, think about when you first had your awakening, or you start having awareness of government stuff, black ops, so forth, because black ops is a real thing. I mean, it is a real thing.
Yeah, one of the first people I came across was Max Spears. Like, it was funny. Like, I used to listen to Art Bell when I was a kid, so I was always into UFOs and the paranormal. But like in 2015, I had a reawakening, and that made me go back and listen to the Art Bell stuff. But it made me, some reason I came across like Miles Johnston and Max Spears. You know what I mean?
Miles Johnston is one of my. I love Miles so much, and I support him. And Max Spears, James Casbolt, James Bartley.
I love James Bartley. I love James.
Even Simon Parks. I mean, these are people that I look to back in the day for help and guidance and helping me understand. Peter Slattery, you know, Soretta.
This Friday. I think I'm interviewing Peter Slattery this Friday.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that would be a great show. You know, Rob, I really need to. Which I'm going to have to find somebody that can help me put a presentation together and really get, because if I'm not asked the questions to help me, like, I just go on, I try to convey what I can, but there's just so much more that I could be sharing about.
Yeah, this was good. I mean, I can even ask you, well, let's say it's finished with this for now. We can always do a part 2. I can have you come back on and we can do a part 2.
Sure.
What advice do you have for people that are going through this stuff? Like, as far as like you know, like people who are you know, like people who are survivors who are struggling to break free from, you know, the black ops.
Well, I'm considered Aida AI gone rogue, and there's actually a little video clip from somebody from a basis project where they were referring to Aida AI gone rogue, and I actually had a dream about it, and then woke up, and the first thing I opened up, it said Aida AI gone rogue. That was my soul self revealing to me that I had escaped what I did. But anyways, I would say that if you feel like you're being targeted or abducted through MILAB, unplug your Wi-Fi every night. Unplug it. That will help. I changed my IPL address or whatever, and then turned around and gave it back to Rick like an idiot. But they weren't going to let me go. It would have gotten much worse if I would have tried to, like, they weren't going to let me go and continue walking around fully lit and fully activated. There was no way, especially after having escaped being sacrificed. There was no way they were going to let me do that. Even Simon Park said, Ida, you have a powerful soul. He also read my mind when I was going to ask if I was the wife of, and he said, you're clearer now than I've ever seen you. And he told me that if I ever went public, I'd be severely targeted. And I think what he meant by that was that if I expose the person who I know to be who I know he is, and I won't go there right now, people will realize that we've all been dream spelled. I'll just say that. Yeah. Religion is, even the word religion means to bind. And I'm not saying there's no sacred teachings that you can't learn anything, some common, you know, or some helpful principles to live by, you know, being kind to your neighbor, but, you know, turn the other cheek. I don't believe in that. If somebody is doing me harm, we have a right to defend ourselves, right? But as you heal and you grow, you remove yourself from those types of experiences, because you've done the work in order for you to be able to maintain a certain frequency. Therefore, you don't invite that kind of stuff to you, right? So to the people that are having a difficult time, the biggest thing I could suggest is that if you feel like you're being abducted, unplug your Wi-Fi every night before you go to bed. Get yourself some, grid your house if you need to. Put a bubble of shield around you. Command before you go to sleep, I do not consent to any energy, entity, or technology to interfere in my dream time. And set intentions. All these things help. Eat clean. The cleaner you eat, the less, parasites cause us to have negative thought forms, right? We think it's us, or we're craving things that we wouldn't naturally crave. The body craves health and good, healthy foods and sustenance, not crap. All the stuff, practically everything they sell in the stores is all processed foods, unless you're eating straight vegetables and good meat from the butcher and you're growing your own food. So I say, most of us aren't in a position to do that, including myself. So eat as organically as you can, do some stretching and breathing, sit still with your sight. Let me tell you one thing that I know works for sure to balance the left and right hemisphere is to breathe in 4 seconds, breathe out 6. Or you could breathe in 5 seconds, breathe out 7. The whole point is to take short breaths in and long breaths out. And when I do it, my body goes like this. I spin. Just let yourself spin, because it's your Merkaba, it's your energy calibrating itself, and your left and your right hemisphere. And if you do that just 3 minutes a day, it will make a huge difference. Do it in the morning. Do it throughout the day if you need to, until you build up to maybe 10 minutes. Do it as long as you feel like it's. And then I have other tools that I use, like these, the Vajra and the bell. Bell is for the feminine, the Vajra is for the masculine. And you just hold it and I use my heart to stop it. I hope I didn't blow out anybody's ears with that, but these are powerful.
That was clearing me. That was really clearing me. Like I needed a clearing. Like I probably need to
definitely. I mean, this thing's powerful. Beautiful Marvel Bliss, Stephanie. You know Stephanie, Rob. She gave me this.
Yeah,
she gave it to me, but I held it up and she said, Ida, that's yours. That belongs to you. She said, I just seen you in a, I don't know, Cherokee, whatever. And I do have my great-great-grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee. Although I'm Palestinian and Scottish Irish. But I have different things that I do to clear my house, clear my home. There's all kinds of things. I have different sprays. I have all kinds of metaphysical tools in there, pyramids. I put shungite everywhere. I mean, there's things we can do. It's really the intention. Turn to this your North Star and set the intention to be in alignment with your highest divinity, your highest truth. What's for your highest and best good? Help you to be neutral and guide you and ask for guidance. I mean, yeah.
Wow. Well, this was fascinating. I'd love to have you back.
Kind people, hold the door open for somebody, help the elderly. I do all kinds of things I don't talk about for people, and I don't need to. The point is, it's just even a small kind of act of kindness goes a long way, and we're all capable of it. But I love coming on and talking to you, Rob. I think you're amazing. I really want to get to a point where I can put a cohesive presentation together where I really can get out what I want to get out. And I will. It'll happen for me because I have so much up here. I really need to write it down and get things, organized in my mind and get a real presentation put together so that when I do come on, I can really answer questions that may answer, people may have questions that I can answer and give a clear, some clear guidance about, at least about my experiences. Some people may have experienced what I've experienced. have gone through similar experiences is my point.
Well, we can do a part 2, we can do if you want to work on it. And then, if you want to tell me some good, if we can do a part 2, we can do
well, I would love to come on anytime. I just enjoy talking to you and I'm really into esoteric stuff more than, although it all has its parts, because all of it, so I'm going to give a shout out to a guy named Seven Bomar. If you guys haven't found out who he is or have never seen any of his work, I highly recommend you look him up. And I'll send you a couple of the videos that I recently actually shared with Piper, came to visit with me for the weekend. Shout out to Piper. I love you. And it'll give you a different perspective on how this planet's ran and on an energetic level, going up to the Anunnaki and the Elohim, and which I think are the same beings, Anunnaki and Elohim, just different names for same beings. And and how what it means to be spiritually sovereign, because it has to start within before you can really start taking steps on the outside. All of us talk about the birth bond and how we're being taxed and our energy's been inside, but getting all the information together to be able to put it together to present or to emancipate ourselves from this matrix system is they've made it nearly impossible. I mean, I imagine some have done it, but I would love to learn how to do that. I'll tell you that. But I think if we just choose sovereignty within our hearts, think for ourselves. I'm not a person. I don't do clicks. I don't follow along to get along. I don't do any of that. I think for myself. I make choices for myself. We have to do that. We have to be willing to be responsible for ourselves and not to blame anything on anything outside of us. We have to own it.
I agree.
It's part of emotional maturity and being self-actualized. Right? What does that mean to be self-actualized? To know your divinity, know your own power, and to navigate this realm and multidimensionally the best you can, and just to be, don't walk in fear. You got to trust that you're divinely guided. I say divinely protected, selected, or divinely connected, protected, and selected for greatness every day. I am divinely connected, protected, and selected for greatness. Not meaning greatness like I need to be, meaning good things to happen in my life. Anyways, I know I'm kind of rambling on right now.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I love this. This was amazing.
I'm sorry?
I said I love this. This was amazing. This was a great show. This was a good one. I really liked this a lot.
Rob, you're so sweet.
Wait, before we go, do you want to tell people how they can follow you and what your websites are and all that, or anything you want to promote? Thank you.
Well, sure, I can. So I will send you the links. You can add them to the comment section if you'd be okay with that. Primarily, so guys, those of you that may not know me, I am the co-producer of the Full Disclosure Now conference, working closely with Brian Tseng. And we have a great team that he has put together. In addition to what we had started out, there was just a few of us. Now Brian has brought a new team on board, and we're all collaborating together and working together. And it's a great group of people. But we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. So I can't really speak to it because until I have the calendar of what's coming up in the next. So I do know that there's going to be quarterly gatherings and different stuff going on and different events. And then the conference again, Brian has mentioned that he wants to do it at the Serrata Beach again next year. So I also have a show called Cosmic Brew, although I haven't interviewed anybody in probably 3 months. I mean, it's been a long time. I've been I have a small ionic foot detox and PMF business. And then I also do work with Brian with the conference and getting information out there and so forth. So that's kind of taken up a lot of my time. Yeah, so I'll send you the links right now, and then you can add them. So one is the liquid zeolite that I use from The Good Inside. It's fantastic. And then the fix, guys, you got to try it. Just try it, and then you can decide if you want to continue using it. It's so good. And then I also sell TMF machines. Now they're quite expensive, but if you're a practitioner out there that you're looking for a new modality to offer your clients, this is definitely something you'd be interested in. And you can have a look on my website and see if you have any questions, you guys can reach me. I'm on Facebook, Aida Farhat. There's a picture of me. Also, you can send me a messenger, or you can reach my email at aidafarhat@gmail.com. But let me give you my okay. Rob, here is there's one. Sorry I didn't send this to you earlier. I
can always add it to the description. I'll add it on YouTube and I'll add it on Rumble. And and then I'll probably, I mean, we went over an hour. See if I'll upload clips to it to TikTok and Odyssey, and I'll upload it to Odyssey too. So yeah, guys, my whole archive of my stuff's on Odyssey, by the way, guys. Well, you guys can, all my old stuff that YouTube took down when they took down my first channel. A lot of that's like from videos from last year's Full Disclosure Now conference that I took. That's all on Odyssey, So so you guys can go access that there. The links are in the description, and this was amazing. Yeah, just send me the links, Aida, and I'll share them. And thank you. This was amazing.
You're welcome. I mean, I know that there's so much more that I could be sharing about my testimony and my experiences, but again, Rob, and I absolutely love and adore you, but I need somebody to be able to ask me questions so that I can get the information out of me.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Correctly. And I'm gonna, once I put a presentation that's fit to share, because I know the first one we did, Jennifer helped me with a small presentation. I don't know if you remember that. I had slides that I showed different stuff. It was a long time ago when I came on with you. I still have that. Maybe I'll use that as a piece. I'm sorry?
It probably got taken down because they took down my first channel. It might be on Rumble, but I mean, they did take down my first channel. So, all that stuff got lost.
Rob, I really have moved into much more healing and spiritual practices, and, being the best Aida I can be here and now, rather than continuing to dig up all the stuff about my experiences in the projects and programs, because honestly, I mean, I have quite a bit of recall, but not, I think mostly everything I experienced was here on this planet. It wasn't off world somewhere.
Yeah.
And they have, so I was dealing with very violent people, drug running, sex trafficking, that kind of thing. And so there's a lot going on back in the days. I grew up in Wheaton, Maryland. Back when I grew up, there was a lot of bikers and PCP and acid and cocaine, all that stuff, heroin. Thank God I never liked that stuff.
Yeah. I'm the same way.
You know what's crazy is when I look back at the stuff that I experienced, it's who was that person? It's almost like it's a separate person for me. I look back and I just can't even. It's not who I am. What we do is shed the aspects of ourselves that are not our true self, right? So that we can move into our authentic, genuine self. And every day, if we take time to love ourselves, nurture ourselves, and hold ourselves closely, we become more and more of our true self. And that's where the magic begins, because that's when we get to experience more joy and love in our life and have fascinating discussions with people that and realize that we are so much more alike than we are different if we just take the time to have the conversation and to engage. Most people are scared to look you in your eyes, meaning a
Yeah.
person, right? And I'm a person that's like very direct. I want to look in your eyes because that's where I go straight for the heart with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the point. Yeah. I just remember. I hope I'm still able to join. I was supposed to do Veronica Bartolini's podcast tonight, but I told her I had to join an hour late. But then we ended up going over for our interview. So I hope she's not mad at me, and I hope I can still join. I hope she's still going. I hope she's not mad
I'm sure she'll let you join, and we can get off here. And Rob, you're amazing, and nobody's going to listen. The whole community loves you, buddy. We all love you.
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean,
listen. I can tell you right now, I've never heard of. Nobody's ever come. Well, people wouldn't come to me about it anyways, because I don't get involved in nonsense. But everybody speaks highly of you, Rob. Everybody totally cheers you on and supports you. So Veronica will definitely let you on, and we could get off here. We'll have to. I know you reached out to me a couple weeks ago about coming on, and we had discussed it a few months ago. Let's do it when I have a real presentation to put together where
like, believe it or not, I know you want that, and I see why you want that, but like people love this stuff too. Like, from my experience in podcasting, they love this when you're just doing like real talk and you're getting into a bunch of different subjects because you're showing you're so authentic.
I'm not saying that people won't like it, and I hope they do because I love having this conversation with you. Maybe we could maybe do like a round table and have a few of us get together and we can all,
Hell yeah, that'd be cool.
Would you be interested in that if I get the people together? You want to do a round table?
Get whoever you want, and I'll do it because I trust you.
I will do that, and I'll be in touch. I'll get a nice round table put together for you. Yeah. I will with people like Miles, and would you have like Miles on?
Oh yeah, he's been on the show like many times. I know. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, but I'm saying like a round table like Miles Johnson, James Bartley, like some of the old.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would love that.
That would be so let me see what I can do, and then I'll be in touch with you. And just know that you're loved and supported, and I mean that. And thank you for having me on. I feel honored, and I hope your audience enjoyed our discussion. And just bear with me, guys. I'm going to put a fit presentation together at some point, and maybe I'll, Brian will say, okay, Ida, go for it, and give me an opportunity to be a presenter. But if not, I like working behind the scenes. I love working with all the presenters and vendors. And
I tell you, like, I hope Brian knows how efficient you are, because I was just going to tell the audience, like, I didn't have a problem at all at this Serato. Like, the Serato is beautiful, but like, there wasn't like I got there early. I got there before all the conference people. Remember, I told you this? And there was like a day or two where they didn't come to our hotel room to do like cleaning, and I told you about it. And Ida was on it right away. Then that cleaning lady was at my room like the next day, like with towels. Remember, I told you I didn't have towels. She was there with towels. So like it was nice that you took that to heart. It was nice that you reached out to them for me, and then they really acted on it. Like they really.
Well, they shouldn't have waited till the next day, Rob. They should have been there immediately. But I don't know what time it was when you told me. But yes, absolutely.
We were having dinner. We were having. I think me and you were having. It was me, you, and Gina. We were having like dinner or like a late lunch. You know. What I mean?
So it was probably after that. Yeah. Yeah, of course, that's what I'm there for. I mean, I stayed busy. There was constantly something coming up that I had to tend to, but I do well with that multitasking. I just do well with it. So
you're amazing. No, I think you're amazing. I just wanted to tell you that. I think Brian's really lucky to have you as like a assistant or a partner or whatever you consider. I mean, like, I think I've got to see you in action 2 years now, and I can only say, you can clip this if you want to, or save it or whatever. I just say I've been seeing nothing but good stuff from you, I know you're a genuinely really good person that cares a lot about people, and you want the best for all the guests. I mean, I remember at the beginning of the conference, you were worried about like people's air flights and how people are going to get in, and like you were worried about like having to pick everybody up, but you got it all done. You did it, and you shine because like everybody got there, So
thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Well, send Brian Tseng a message and let him know. That might be helpful. I think he knows in his heart. Yeah. He knows I got his back, and he knows that I really, this means a lot to me. You know, Brian and I started this together, Rob. Everybody thinks it's Brian, but it's not. Brian had a team, including myself and me as co-producer, and then we had other people. You know, Brian had a good group of people that we got this thing going. Now he has financed it all, and I'm truly grateful to him. But you know, there was more than just Brian, right? Everybody thinks it's just Brian, and I say this, and Brian's not looking to be put up on a pedestal. He doesn't want that. He wants everybody. This is not his conference, my conference. It's humanity's conference. It's the community's conference. It's full disclosure now for everybody, all encompassing, everybody that resonates and wants to get educated and connect with like-hearted, like-minded people. You are welcome. And if you have no idea about UFO, secret space program, trauma-based mind control, ritual sacrifice, any of that, if you don't know and you're curious, you think you might have some, come to the conference. You will be absolutely fascinated, but more importantly, you will be welcome and you will be loved the whole way through it. We have a great time, don't we, Rob? We have such a good time.
I told everybody this, and I'll say it again. It's honestly like soul family. Every time I go, every year, you know, like I enjoy the lectures. The lectures are amazing, and all the presenters are amazing. But I have a lot of fun being outside, talking to everybody, and communicating. And whether we're smoking a joint at night on the beach, or we're all just talking and chatting like a powwow in front of the fire, or whatever. Yeah. You know, it's just nice.
Me and Laura Eisenhower serenading one another. We had so much fun doing it. I mean, I love her. Right? James, I mean, there's so many people. These are, you know, I definitely say give them credit for the hard work that they've done. And over the years, like Laura Eisenhower is amazing. James Bartley's amazing. Miles Johnson's amazing. I could keep going. Sean Moy, how do you say it? Sean Moy. What's his name?
John.
Yeah. Yes. All of these people are amazing. Yes, but they're human. Well, maybe not human. I don't know. I'm just teasing, right? Mm-hmm. But the point is, they are down-to-earth people that are willing to have a conversation with you. Like, very, you know, nobody's looking to be put up on a pedestal is my point. This is for everybody, right? There's nobody greater or better or any of that. We need to remember that. This requires all of us to show up for ourselves and each other. That's what I was going to say. Right? We have to show up for ourselves. And when we do, then we show up for others by doing so. And then we find that we have great connections and we make new friends and we network and we help each other build platforms or build businesses, build new businesses, maybe come together. I mean, so much could happen, but you got to show up to experience the magic of it all. So
yeah, and it definitely is magical. I'll say that 2 years in a row now I got to experience it, and it's nothing short of amazing, you know. Especially when
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Rob. And we wouldn't want to go on without you being at every one of them because I know that Brian holds you in high esteem and loves you, and so do I. So
that means a lot. Thank you.
Oh, I mean that. And I met Gina for the first time with you. She and I have been friends, but I finally got to meet her in person. And I'm so happy. She's such a lovely woman.
Yeah, she's
I love her direct. She's like me. She's pretty direct and down to earth, and I love that.
Yeah,
we need to be able to do that. You know?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
She's really talented. You know, she's like,
so talented, and I loved her dance on the beach. I mean, that was just so much fun to watch her and her divine feminine, and just really owning who she is and being okay with. You know, whether she had a big audience or 2 or 3, like she was going to express and do that regardless. And I love that.
Yeah.
That's just, it's beautiful. So, all right, buddy. Go. I'm sure that, is there something in the studio chat? Is somebody asking something? Is there any questions?
Does anybody have any questions for Aida while while we're still here? Like, does anybody want to ask a question? They're a little bit behind us, so like, the live stream's like maybe 10 or 15 seconds behind, so it might take a second to do some questions, but we can definitely see it. And I'm just gonna have to apologize, and then you guys are hearing me now. I'm going to publicly apologize to Veronica Bartolini, because that girl's amazing. And I just told her that I had to push the interview back, but I didn't realize our interview was going to go so late. But like, I would never do that to someone. You know me, Ida. I would not do that to her. She's a great girl. She's amazing. Like, I have nothing.
She is awesome. I love Veronica. I don't want to hold you up any longer. We can definitely connect again. Don't worry about the questions. They have questions. They can reach out to me personally. My birthday is tomorrow, so stop by, say hello. I sent you the links, add it to the comments for me,
You're gonna
please.
be 25, right? You're going to be 25.
Yeah. I feel like 25. I feel like a big kid. I have a lot of fun. I love to talk crap and tease and play and all that stuff. But when I'm at work, I think people know me to be that way. And then when I'm at the conference, they see me a kind of different way, and they think, but I'm working. And it's like, people want me to, I'm like, guys, I'm working. You can't, I can't stop and sit down every 2 minutes and whatever. I mean, I do when I can, but most of the time there's something going on. I have to run my butt off, but it's okay. I love doing it.
Yeah, I agree. You were amazing. You really shine under, like, I guess you could call that a pressure situation, because you have so much going on, right? Like that, like, and you probably have a lot of different people like pulling your arm a different way, so it's like
that happens. Not all the time, but yeah. But the biggest thing is being a liaison between the venue and the conference, and making sure that everything, we had somebody go into the bathrooms and fill the toilets up with toilet paper. It's like just immature nonsense that people do. We have one of our vendors, I'm not going to mention her name, and I prefer not to do that on here, but long story short, one of our vendors that had probably a $250, $300 sign up, retractable sign, somebody decided to draw on it and being disrespectful. I mean, I'm just using those as examples. This is the kind of nonsense that isn't acceptable and needs, if I ever find out who did it, I would have a conversation with them. But those kinds of things. I mean, those are just a couple of things. Making sure coffee is replaced in the VIP room. Like, there's a lot. Make sure all the vendors are good. Making sure that the presenters get into their rooms when they're checking in. All of that. I can keep going. It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun too. So there's no complaints. It doesn't really feel like work, other than my body's tired at the end of the day. I love it. I love doing it.
I know I had a blast. When I came back, I was missing Florida. You know what I mean? I was missing that vacation. But like a matter of fact, I was in vacation mode still up until a couple of days ago. I was just wanted to, I don't know.
Oh my God, Rob, it took me like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. Like, I don't even know how long has it been. Like, well, tomorrow's my birthday, and so the 18th through the 18th was the last day. So you figure the 21st. So been 2 weeks, and I'm just finally getting back to my normal routine. Like, it took a good week and a half for me energetically to balance out and to clear my energy and to, really just get refocused coming back from that, even though it was only a week, because I'm in such a routine every day of what I do. So yeah, I was tired. Plus the planetary alignments have been, how many people are watching? How many people are on?
Well, I mean, I can say we have 25 watching on YouTube, and then there's 16 likes on Facebook. So that means people are watching on Facebook. And then there's about 20 watching on Rumble. So about 55 or 60 altogether. Nice. I mean, because I always stream it to 3 different places. I always stream it to like Facebook, Rumble, and YouTube,
Yeah.
So we got.
Well, that's nice. Thank you, everybody that joined us. And we will be getting things prepared for next year's conference in the next couple months and start, advertising, marketing for that. And we hope that everybody that's watching, if you can come join us, definitely come, because you'll you really, people think that maybe it's a little expensive, and it is a little expensive, but you're really paying for the experience more than anything, and it's so worth it. It really is.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you have any more questions for me, or?
Kids Alive had a question about PTSD, but I mean, I don't think he heard you explain your story well enough, because he says, he says, how does Aida heal without remembering what happened? He says, for example, I heard PTSD, I healed with talking about what happened. I don't know what he means there. I'm not sure what he means.
Well, I'll do my best to answer that, Kitzlathiel. I think that's how you say it. And thank you for asking the question. So, post-traumatic stress disorder, I use what's called PMF therapy. So this is and Rob will have the link in the description at the end of the show. This is called a P90, P90 Plus. So this does PMF and terahertz. So it's great for PTSD. I also have the Vitality Wand that I use that creates new cells in the body, helps detox, remove unhealthy cells. Then I have what's called the Galaxy G1. Galaxy G1, this is for eyewear, which is really good for slowing the mind down. People tell me they start seeing swirls of colors, they dream again. So it's the only PMF eyewear that's on the market, and it detoxifies the pineal gland, optic nerves into the spinal cord. So to answer your question, I have been talking about what has happened to me for many years. And so I'm past the story. I mean, I give my testimony, and haven't been used in the MILAB, military abduction and trauma-based mind control, satanic ritual abuse. But I've done so much. I've been talking about this stuff for so many years that I'm really past the trauma part of it. And even though my emotional body still probably could use some healing, I do a lot of that on my own. But I've worked with practitioners and people that are able to do readings. I give a shout out to Dr. Amir Jahangari. If you guys want a reading, I absolutely recommend him. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Chris, Sean Bond, they are all amazing. Yeah. Have you had Dr. Amir Jahangari on yet, Robert?
Oh yeah. I've had him on a couple of times. He's pretty amazing. He's Middle Eastern too. I think he's from. He's originally from Persia. His roots are.
I can't remember. I think he's. I don't know. I know it's like Persia or Iran or something.
Yeah. He's a really nice guy. I like him a lot. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Let me see if there's any other questions. Because I just sent Veronica a message. I couldn't wait. I was nervous. I just wanted to apologize to her because I was like, I don't know. I don't mean to overschedule things like that. I'm not usually like that. I'm just like,
Bob, you're okay. I don't think Veronica's going to have a fit. Send her a message, say that the show ran over, and she'll make arrangements to have you on another time.
You know me. I worry about stuff. You know what I mean?
I don't want you to worry about it. So listen, if anybody is interested, I do work with women and consulting. I do shadow work and help them. I'm considering adding it as a service to my website because I already do it. I don't charge for it, but there may, if anybody's interested or you need, some guidance or some help or clearing. I mean, I have the let me just show this real quick. Hold on. I think it's up here. This is called the Dean's device that I got from Chris O'Connor. Chris O'Connor will be talking at James Rink's conference coming up. But he was at the Full Disclosure Now last year. This, if I can get the thing off, I can show you guys. So this is dipped in gold, 24 karat gold, and it has 8 carats of diamond chips inside, used as a conductor for the magnet. So the gold side is 0 point energy. You can use it. So I feel tingling around my pineal gland. And then you can use the silver side pulls energy out. So if you have stuck energy in the silver side, it also helps with inflammation, chakra clearing, and balancing. It's powerful.
Wow.
Might be able to feel that through the screen. I don't know. I use it on Prince. He loves it. You want to say hi to everybody, Prince? Do you want to come say hi? Come say hi to everyone. And this is Prince. Prince has been with me many lifetimes. He's a stud. He's a handsome boy. Prince, say hi to Rob. Oh my goodness! Wow! And you see the heart? He's got a heart on his snout, Rob. See, he's holding my arm. I love you. Yeah, he wants to get down. He's a good boy.
What kind of dog is he?
He's a Jack Russell, but he was a runt, so he's shorter. Like his legs are shorter than most Jack Russells, are a little bit taller. He's a Jack Russell, and he's super smart. Like he's intelligent. Do you know one time, and I hate to admit this, I was in the car smoking, and I have a strap in the back because I don't want him like climbing all over the car when I'm driving. And I didn't realize that the chair, I don't like to throw my cigarettes out, so I'll usually hang my arm out the side and break the cigarette off and then put the butt in the little canister thing. Well, it must have flew back in, and I didn't know it. This boy came out of his harness and off the strap and climbed up front, and I didn't hear a peep.
Wow.
I just looked over, and he's sitting there, and I'm like, that had to have been angelic presence. There's no way that, how is he going to get, come here. It was this harness. How is he going to get out of this harness? How did he get out of it? It doesn't even, like, I don't know how he got out of it. I still am in awe about that. Yes.
Wow.
I'm so thankful. I said sorry to him. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was so upset. God forbid, because it burnt his little blanket. It was smoking, and it scared him, and he got himself out of it. But I think there was, I don't know, angelic intervention or something, because I'm thankful he didn't get hurt. But anyways,
God, yeah.
Sorry.
I mean,
well, I'm just rambling now, and I don't want to hold people up. But thank you, everyone that joined us, and I'll do a little bit better. Like I said, I know people enjoy, hearing just raw conversation and I love that too. But I really do want to get a proper presentation put together. So I'm going to work on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd love to have you back on as soon as you're ready. Like, if you want to just come on for a conversation, we can do that. If you want to come on and tell your story, whatever you want to do, I'm up for it. So just let me know.
Well, you're awesome, Rob. Well, what I'm going to do is talk to a few people and see if we can get a roundtable going. That way we can bounce different information off of each other and just share our perspectives and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah, and all those people you mentioned, they've all been on the show before, especially James and Miles. They come on a lot, So I think they would, but so that would be cool.
Or maybe we'll do we'll do that and then have a divine feminine show.
Yeah,
you have women. Yeah, we can just discuss whatever comes to our heart, whatever, or we'll come up with the topic and maybe discuss it. Like some of the ancient Egyptian technology that is still being used today, like the Ankhs, and I could keep going. I mean, I have metaphysical tools. I don't know. I'm not going to pull them all out of the case, and then I have this from Michael Lee Hill I got a long time ago.
I'm a big fan of him. Yeah, I love Michael Lee Hill. I heard he's got a problem going on. He said
he's got some health issues, but we're gonna hold him in his divinity and hold him in high esteem and trust that everything he's gonna work through it.
Yeah, I hope he does. I like that guy. I like him a lot. He's a good guy.
So guys, just so you know, bells, clapping, just clapping. all through your house, in the corners, bells. This is, I'll do a real quick.
Wow, that was amazing. It was clearing.
I do. I use it for clearing on people, clearing on myself. I run it up and down my body. I put it over my crown. I mean, bells, clapping. Of course, Palo Santo is fantastic. High vibrational music, pan music, I listen to all the time. Like, there's different stuff that you can do to rattles, drums. I have drums. Like, there's all kinds of things we can do to help ourselves.
Yeah.
Play good music, dance, get your body and your Shakti and your body moving. It's so good for you. Even the guys, we all need to do it, Rob. You ever belly dance, Rob?
No, I know. You know, I had a girlfriend who did that though. You know, I had a girlfriend who did.
Well, men they do their own. I mean, I don't know if they call it belly dancing, but yeah, we could do lots of things to help ourselves. We have the sun ring. I have all kinds of metaphysical tools. Have you ever seen these before? So the sun ring, yeah, you can do clearings. You shake it 1, 2, 3 and activate it. You can hold it over your head. You can hold it in your heart and just do different clearings. Like right now on my solar plexus, it feels a little like something's pulling. Like it's like you know how somebody pinches you and like pulls your skin a little bit? It kind of feels like that inside me, which, so there's different things you can do. Anyways, all right. I'm just rambling on. I'm going to get off here, Rob. I have clients tomorrow and I need to prepare and get my car loaded. But I sent you all the links. Please do share them. Guys, if anybody's interested in reaching out to me on PMing me on Facebook, you're welcome to do that. Friend request me. I'll be glad to accept your friend requests. And definitely go to the Full Disclosure Network and subscribe. Maybe share that too. Do you have the Full Disclosure Network link?
Yeah, it's fulldisclosure.live or fulldisclosuremovement.org.
Yeah, if you could share those two, please, in the comments with it to contact either myself or I don't want to bother Brian. Just if anybody wants to contact me for next year, if you're a vendor or you know anybody that you think would be a good presenter that you would love to see present, you know, if you have any recommendations or suggestions, I'm willing to make sure you put and I'll send you my email. Soon I'll have an email address for the Full Disclosure now, but for now I'll use my personal one and make sure you add that too, please.
Okay. And okay.
Yeah, there it is. So there's three links and then my email. Okay. And I'm going to have to get off here now so I can tend to him, take him out for a walk, get myself ready, get my car loaded up for the office tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and for tuning in today. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. I have more shows tomorrow. And and thank you, Aida. And
you're welcome. And I share your shows out, Rob, and I share them to the Full Disclosure. I mean, I do my best to stay on top of all that besides sending Brian's, sharing Miles. Like, I try to be supportive to everybody. So just know, you know, I do my best to support you, and I appreciate the hard work and dedication that you put into helping people and giving them a platform to share their testimonies. And we need to continue. And people definitely subscribe, share his channel out, share the show out, and let's see if we can get him up to, how many did you say you wanted to get?
I have 5,000 on Rumble right now, or almost 5,000.
All right, so we want 5,000 or more. So let's do 555. Let's get them up there by the next day. Let's get them. That's 100 people. I know you guys could share out on your show. I mean, on your platforms, and share it out and invite people to like and share and subscribe. And then I'll be bugging Rob to see if you hit 555. Once you do, I want you to, and I'm going to share it out and tell everybody to subscribe.
All right. Well, thank you. everyone, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.